We are.
All right, well, thank you. Just
Yeah,
finished.
I think you should introduce Tina, who's with us. Fernandez, our new person.
Oh, Tina, please,
see her?
yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Good. Do you want to take
Nice
a few
to see
minutes and introduce yourself?
Sure. Obviously, I'm recently on this board. I am the legal and compliance officer at Visions. I only recently took that position back in October. I was previously with Hinman, Howard, and Cattell for a little over 17 years. So I'm happy to be on this board.
Yes, and we're
Happy to have you.
grateful to have you. Very grateful. And
Thank
that's
you.
how I knew Tina was from HH&K.
Yep.
Now we're both alumni.
Yes.
All right. Nick, are you okay? Oh, we can't hear
And
you.
we can't hear you
You're
either.
muted, Nick.
We can see that big hand.
Doesn't say he's muted.
Unmute.
Yeah, he was unmuted, but we still couldn't hear him.
Yeah, we still can't hear you. Not yet. Diana, can you text him and let him know we can't hear him? And maybe he can call in?
He can hear us.
Oh, he can. Okay. All right, so maybe he can give thumbs up, and then if he needs to ask a question, he can text you the question. Would that work?
Nick,
He thumbs up.
you can put it in the chat if you have a question,
Yeah,
Nick.
good point. Yep. Perfect. All right, so we'll get started then. Everyone got in advance of the meeting, the minutes, the April 20, 2021 F&F committee minutes. Is there any discussion relative to the minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So,
Thank you. Second? Margaret, second. All in favor, aye?
aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, Nick voted yes, Diana. All right, moving on to action items. 2.1, approval of payroll certification. Any discussion?
I move.
Thank you, Margaret. Second?
Nick.
Second, Nick.
I think
Oh.
Nick.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anyone abstain? All right, 2.2, approval of subscription service agreement with Ocelot. Any discussion?
So move.
Thank you, Margaret. Move second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Barbara. All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anyone abstain? All right, 2.3, approval of RFP for banking services. Any discussion? Motion?
I didn't quite,
Oh, boy. Margaret, you froze. Well, we're having a technological day.
We are.
We're moving right along. Well, it hasn't been moved, so can we move the motion and have her get a second and then discussion?
Yes, we can, Barbara.
If I remember my parliamentary procedure.
Yes, we can. So is there a second? Barbara, second. Oh, Michael, thank you, second. All right, we'll hold for discussion. All right. I'm sure she'll come right back in. Such a big buildup to her question.
I see, she's gone too, right?
Yeah,
But not forgotten.
no. No, she'll be back.
Can we move to the next item and then come back?
Yeah, Diane, I was just gonna ask you, do we have a quorum without her?
Yes, you do.
Okay, All right, we'll move on to 2.4, approval of subscription service agreement with Civitas Student Impact Platform.
Civitas.
I'm sorry, I said it wrong, Civitas. Any discussion? Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Barbara. Nick is second. All in favor, aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, 2.5, approval of software subscription for Ames Parking Management. Any discussion? Motion? Thank you, Nick. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, 2.6, approval of amendment of the contract term and annual amount with Aleutian Company LP for Aleutian Student Help Desk Services.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Barbara. Second?
Second.
Second, Michael. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? 2.7, approval of higher education emergency relief fund strengthening institutions program award. Any discussion? Motion? Thank you, Michael. Second? Thank you,
I'll make-
Barbara. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, 2.8, approval of resolution for sabbatical leaves. Any discussion? Motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Barbara. Nick is second. All in favor, aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, 2.9, recommend approval of resolution recommending candidates for continuing appointment. Discussion? Motion? I'll move it. Second?
Second it.
Thank you, Michael. All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, 2.10, approval of resolution recommending candidates for promotion. Any discussion? Motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Barbara. Nick is second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, so we will hold on 2.4 until Margaret gets back. Margaret, you're not there, are you? I don't see you. Not yet. Okay. Let's go down to the president's report and then we can come back up when she joins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome again, Tina. Nice to see you on the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting, along with Anthony, who's joined in for the edification of the experience. We appreciate your willingness to serve, and you're certainly coming in at an interesting time, not only in the history of SUNY Broome, but in the history of higher education and other industries, and at a flex point for our futures. And on that note, a few of the items on this agenda don't entirely pertain to this unique period in history, but Ocelot, Civitas, and Aleutian, a company we've been with for a long time, provides our after hours and weekend support services for students and for admissions and basic admissions and registration and financial aid questions. They've worked with us for a number of years now, so they know that our answers to all the most asked questions when students call in. We've been using them for several years, particularly to serve our distance learning students who maybe are never on campus or rarely on campus, depending on where they're situated. I'm really excited about Ocelot. That's well, they do other things, but they're very, very popular chat bot. Really one of the benchmark softwares in the country. In fact, through our national conference this year for community colleges, the American Association of Community Colleges, they're doing kind of 1 day a week of conference meetings this year versus flying off somewhere to meet for 3 or 4 days. And I sat in on an Ocelot presentation from a school I'm quite familiar with in Massachusetts, and they had nothing but great things to say about it. We all get chatbots now when you go online for other purchases or services, and we need to catch up. And our students today, our younger students today in particular, are much more comfortable with chatbots than they are chatting with real people especially when it comes to business. I don't know about with their friends, but certainly when it comes to doing business, that's what they're accustomed to. Not my favorite thing when it comes to chatting about this, that, or the other service or purchase, but they're very comfortable with it. And whether it was the increased market for distance services or not with the pandemic, it's a direction we ought to be going anyway. As you know, as I've shared you many times, the whole distance learning movement has only been, like so many trends, has only been accelerated by the pandemic. So excited to see those technologies. We're excited to be renewing with Aleutian and to see the new technologies on the agenda. Other good news, our enrollment numbers have begun to turn around. We're not going to set any records this year with our demographics the way they are, but given where we were a month ago, both with the trends in applications and registrations, as well as interest in our residence hall, it's like night and day. No comparison to where we were just a month ago when it was very scary. So who knows what's going to happen between now and August, but the news is very good today, and it's hopefully the start of a trend for the rest of the summer, and sleep a little easier these days given where our numbers are today versus a month ago. And I'll leave that there on those high notes for this morning, unless somebody has any questions.
Hey, Kevin, I did have one question on the arrangement now that's been worked out with BU on the business school.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would think that the publicity around that would also help drive. I would think there'd just be a lot of interest relative to that will help maybe spur some additional interest to the college.
Yeah, I would think so. We've been taking every opportunity to share good news out there, both in our traditional marketing and through digital means, and other good news as well, like the amount of scholarship money we have today. We can't advertise all the federal stimulus money either. We have millions of dollars in federal stimulus money that has to go directly to students. There's lots of really good news lately, although we've been told by SUNY not to advertise the stimulus money. We can tell students about it, but we can't advertise it. So that is a really good news feature. And Harvey mentioned, geez, couldn't we do this with engineering? So boy, we'd love to. You got to get Hari on board. He just hasn't been on board. Of course, Kathy, you and I have a relationship with UPender, and I met UPender through the hospital board, so I've known him for a long time. Hari is just on and off over the years at this, that, and the other meeting, but so I'm actually having lunch with Brian here coming up pretty soon to talk about a number of things, because he's really the one who worked on the joint admissions program with us initially back when Peter McGrath was here. So lots of really good things happening. And, quite frankly, the majority market out there wants bachelor degrees. I mean, when you look at industry and where the needs are, and when you look at the history of education in the United States, the need for degrees just ratchets up. Or people, there are people now who question the value of a degree altogether. And then you've got the folks in between. So yeah, I've had a lot of great feedback on that move with Binghamton to have that clear, strong articulation with such a great business school. That should help us tremendously, particularly, with a market that we're always going after. And that is, students who could get in other places. Maybe they can't get into BU right off the bat. And of course, that's what the Binghamton Advantage program is about. but they could go elsewhere right into a bachelor's program when they could save a lot of time and money to start here. And that's, that's the kind of program that would help us with that market, which we're always trying to convince that we're a really good bet in that area. And that just shores up, that message.
What's the criteria, Kevin, for them? When what do they can't just automatically go, do they? They must have
No, it's 25.
or-
It doesn't mean that more couldn't go, but they're saving 25 seats and they have to have a 3.7 or better. Obviously, it's a very competitive business school, very hard to get into. And but we always have more than 25 graduates who have a 3.7. Now, whether they'll all want to go to Binghamton, remains to be seen, but they have to have a 3.7 in our business transfer degree in order to qualify for that. And then it would be the top 25 would automatically have a seat if they want to go to BU. But historically, we've always had more than 25 with a 3.7.
That's a wonderful program, I think. Great for us.
Yeah.
And
Kevin,
it helps the
maybe-
university, because they always lose students, between the freshman and the junior year. So, it helps them as well.
There is a lot of great things that are happening. So I'm just thinking, even maybe at the board meeting, if we had 5 or 6 talking points that the board would have that, when we're out in the community, we can share and help. I'd be happy to have that, sort of that list.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We can have Jesse put together some bullet points, even with the 2 new scholarships, that we just launched.
Right.
In the last couple of weeks, the Jumpstart scholarship, which is a minimum of, $500 for everyone, which again, really targets that middle class market that, the family makes a little too much money to get any need-based aid, but they don't make enough money to just write us a check. So, that $500 will go to that family who in the past wouldn't have received anything in financial aid, unless their son or daughter got a merit award. Which certainly happens with some of them. And now we, thanks to a little positive quirk in what happened with the finances in the foundation this past year, we're going to be able to double that for resident students. So resident students will be able to give them a minimum of $1,000 to help pay for their room and board, which of course dramatically increases the cost of attendance everywhere. So we're excited about that. That's another scholarship we were just able to institute in the last couple of days. We had a fortunate quirk of accounting and finance last year in the foundation that accrued to the foundation's benefit. And we're, of course, always the fortunate beneficiaries of that.
Yeah,
So,
I think it'd be great.
we can
I'd
do
love
that.
to have it. Yeah. Because we certainly are out there enough. We can start, talking through that in the community.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
was up in Maine this past weekend for Mother's Day weekend, see my mother-in-law, and University of Phoenix is advertising up there. I don't see the University of Phoenix around here very much. We see Southern Hampshire University like outwardly on network and cable television, but haven't seen the University of Phoenix in a long time. And they advertise, giving away $1 million in scholarships. Now their enrollment is in the tens of thousands, and we give away $1.6 million in scholarships for our few thousand students. We're so far, ahead of them. So, and we've been, advertising our scholarships, pretty heavily recently, especially this new Jumpstart scholarship. So we're going to continue to hammer away at that. And then given all the federal money we have, God, we just have so much money to help students for this.
Oh,
it's
music to my ears.
Yeah,
We have so much money.
well, for students, we do. We have a huge chunk of money that has to go to students from the feds. We can't spend it on operations. So we got plenty of money to help students through this period, and we got to get that message out.
All right. Well, great. Any questions or comments for Dr. Drum? All right, Margaret, the lost has been found. We're going to go back up to 2.4. And your question was?
Oh, I didn't quite understand. Banking thing that we're doing with M&T, is it? I didn't understand what it was for. Is it just for the finances or is it like a branch for people to use or what?
This is just the college's banking relationship. We've had M&T Bank for quite some time. And because we're a public institution, we're required to issue RFPs occasionally, which is what we did. And M&T so happened to be the only institution that submitted a proposal. I just say that the terms of the bank, M&T Bank proposal was consistent to what we have had. So we've been very pleased with M&T Bank. So if we weren't required to do an RFP, we probably wouldn't have. But this is just continuing that relationship with M&T Bank.
Okay. Thank you.
So sorry, Margaret, I thought your question was on 2.4. So 2.3 passed. But we do need a motion on 2.4. Oh, I'm sorry. We had a first and second on 2. Never mind. We have a first and second. Barbara and Nick moved it. Is there any other discussion relative to 2.4? Hearing none. Is there aye? Yay? Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right. 2.4 passed. All right. Moving on. Mr. Sullivan, take the floor.
Okay, so we're 2/3 of the way through the fiscal year, which ends August 31st. The college continues to forecast a balanced budget for the current fiscal year. This monthly forecast is exactly the same as last month. Most of the numbers haven't really changed too much, so we continue to think we're in the ballpark of having a balanced budget by the end of August. And that really concludes my report for today.
Any questions for Michael? All right, David.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'll quickly review the report that you should all have in front of you. We continue the installation of bipolar ionization units. As you know, Wales and Decker are the next 2 buildings in line for receipt of those. We intend on constructing, or we hope to, if we can get the materials, 3 permanent pavilions on campus later this summer, which will encourage the use of more outdoor space once we get into the fall semester. Renovation work continues in the finance office. We finally got architectural/design work underway for a number of projects. It took a while to get the contracts in place, the design contracts, but those projects include the replacement of the library roof, the replacement of the business building roof, the replacement of a number of sections of the student center roof, and the repaving of a number of campus parking lots, which will include the construction and replacement of sidewalk. If you're familiar with both Old Science and Student Services, they're the 2 remaining core buildings, primary remaining core buildings that have not been renovated, and they have those red metal panels on the exterior. And Michael and I spoke a number of months ago, and we're in the process of painting them, and we're going to match them up to Wales, a silver and gray combination. Which to us will greatly improve the exterior appearance of both of those buildings. In addition to that, we're preparing a package to tint the windows in both of those buildings, since the HVAC systems are older, not very efficient, the windows in particular, but we feel by tinting the windows, it will aesthetically will improve the appearance of the buildings, because you look in there and all you see are Venetian blinds and drapes and other things, and we feel that changing the windows and tinting the windows will improve the appearance, but also help us with respect to energy costs. Since we have a number of custodial workers that now do landscaping work or groundskeeping work for us in addition to our maintenance staff. We constructed a storage room on this side of campus to be able to store lawnmowers and weed whackers and that sort of thing. And I think I briefly touched on this at the last meeting. We're putting an architectural contract together to explore the exterior signing at the Culinary and Event Center, which will include wayfinding signing, because once that reopens fully and is used to its fullest extent, we want to make sure that people approaching from all directions know how to get there and where to enter and all that. So that's underway. Our HVAC technician, in addition to doing many other things on campus, recently installed 2 new water pumps at the ice center. That was for circulation of hot water for heat. And the plans for the standby generator continue. We hope to receive that unit by the end of May. A little bit cautious since materials have been backed up pretty significantly for a lot of other things. So we'll see if that happens. But that is nearing at least finalization from an installation standpoint. We just got to get the equipment. The only other thing I want to note is that most of this work on this page, if not all of it, with the exception of the architectural and design work, is done by or has been done by our staff. We have really some very talented individuals, both on the facility side, maintenance side, and the custodial side. And it may take a little bit longer, and I know that's frustrating for some people, but from my perspective, it gives the guys a sense of ownership and a good feeling about the campus, and they really do very good work. So slowly, we're using our crew to renovate the campus, but it's paying off, and the work that's getting done or is being done is top quality, very high quality work. So, and that is the end of my report. I would be more than happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, David? David, I just want to note the magazine that came out, was really well done, but the pictures of the music area is beautiful. Really, really nicely done.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree, Kathy.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah, really came out nice. All right, moving on, Lynn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The personnel report for April 2021 reflects standard activity and is for informational purposes.
Thank you. Any questions for Lynn? All right, Michael, back to you.
Thank you. So the last 3 informational items are all standard reports available for your review.
Any questions for Michael? All right, is there any other business to come before the committee today? All right, the next FNF is June 15th at 9 a.m. and it will be a Zoom meeting. So unless there's any other business for today, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Got the second from Nick. All right, everybody, have a great day.
Have a great day,
safe.
everyone.
Thank you all. See you Thursday.
Bye-bye.